Hey everybody, Mike Linville here, founder of Black Dog Education and developer of the DIY Creator Series. I want to welcome you back. We're super excited about today's training, but before we get started, we've actually got a little bit of housekeeping we want to take care of. Number one, I want to make sure that you've had the opportunity to go out there and check your website grade at websitegrader.com. Now, if you've already done that, how did you do? 70, 80, 30, kind of figure out where you're at there. If you haven't done it, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and pause this video, go out and do it. It's absolutely free. It's going to take you less than a minute. Just go to websitegrader.com, type in your URL, click on the button that says generate report, and that's it, okay? Number two, I want to remind you that this is actually part of an awareness campaign about website marketability. And the idea here is that we want to be able to let small business owners kind of get a different perspective on how their website's doing. So, what good would an awareness campaign be if we didn't give stuff away? Everybody that signs up for the sweepstakes is going to get an ebook at the end of this thing that's going to talk about all the different things that we talk about in this series. But more importantly, one winner is actually going to get a free website redesign, complete thing, full Monty. So make sure that you do that. If for no other reason, if your website's awesome, at least you'll get the training. If your website's not awesome, you might be able to get a free website. This is actually video number 3 in the series. So if you haven't already watched the intro video or the first video that we did on design, go ahead and take a look at the navigation on the right-hand side, and you can go ahead and click on those links and watch those videos, okay? All right, so let's talk analytics. Now, there are really 2 reasons why analytics makes it to this list. We're talking about website analytics. The first is if you don't have it. If it's not even installed on your website or it's not even on your radar, that is obviously a big no-no. You need to be able to know your numbers as a small business. Now, the second way that analytics is going to make it to the naughty list or the bad boy list is if you've got it installed, but you're not necessarily paying attention to it, okay? So, if you have it, awesome. If you're knocking it out of the park with your analytics, that's great. Keep up the good work. Watch this video. You may learn a couple of things. If so, that'd be fantastic. If you don't, what we're going to do is we're going to spend the bulk of our time here just kind of talking about, what analytics really is, why it's important to your business, and then we're going to talk about a couple of things that you can do right now to be able to get started with analytics on your website and how you can get started kind of making some business decisions based on those, okay? So when we're training on analytics, web analytics, I love this training the most, especially when we're talking to small businesses. And the reason is because analytics is one of those things, this can be transformational for some businesses, right? There are certain things you can talk about, sales training, or you can talk about this, but when you start talking about analytics and conversion ratios and really being able to get your website to kind of work for you, this thing is hands down going to be most impressive. And what's interesting is that most small businesses don't really pay attention to this kind of thing until they realize how much money they're actually leaving on the table, right? Who couldn't use an extra 20, 30, 40% increase in conversions or profitability? And that's really what we're talking about. If you're on this list or if you have questions about your website, this is one of those things that can really help you pinpoint the problem areas, and so that you know what you've got and you can go ahead and move forward. So the first thing we should probably talk about is what is analytics. Basically, analytics is like a hit counter on steroids. I'm just kidding. Analytics is the measurement, collection, analysis, and reporting of internet data for purposes of understanding and optimizing web pages. What? I know, right? So the big thing here, the important thing for you to take away from this is web analytics is really what it is. It's a process, right? It's a process where we kind of measure the activity on your site, and then what happens is once you have enough data to really kind of take a look, you take a look at it and you try to figure out, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I tweak on my pages to make it, to make my conversions better? If you can go from a 2% conversion ratio to a 3% conversion ratio, I mean, you just gained 50% right there, right? I mean, that's fantastic. That's exactly what we want to be doing. So you're probably asking yourself, what kind of things can I keep track of? I know, with my old stats counter, I could keep track of like page views or visits and stuff like that, and all of it was pretty uninteresting. And that's right. I mean, that is all pretty uninteresting, and it really isn't relevant because the quality of the traffic can affect those things greatly. But with analytics, it's so much more than that. We can learn demographic data from people. We can learn location if you want to know where your people are coming from. Are you big in the US? Are you trying to target China or something like that? You can know where they're coming from. You can find out about browsers, screen resolution, stuff like that, things that are specific to your users, technical setup. Why would that be important? Well, you could tell how many people are actually accessing your website from mobile devices. Yeah, that's going to be important, especially in the next couple of years. So you definitely want to make sure that you pay attention to those folks. You can find out things like, you can find out what the page on your website is. Like if there's one page that everybody leaves from, you can find out what that page is. Because if there's one place that everybody kind of bails from, that probably means there's a problem with that page. Maybe there's something offensive. Maybe it's not loading correctly. Not everybody goes out there and looks at every single page on their website every day, right? Could be an issue with your website that you don't even know about, and the analytics will actually tell you about it, okay? So the real important thing here is to understand what analytics is really for, right? It's a diagnosis tool, It's not going to fix your problems, but what's going to happen is you're going to be able to collect the data and view it in a report so that you can actually make decisions based on those, okay? So in terms of analytics, there are a lot of different programs out there that can do this. I mean, you've got things like, Core Metrics, ClickTracks, Web Trends, Omniture. Here at Black Dog Studios, Black Dog Education, we prefer to use Google Analytics. And there are a couple of reasons that we prefer to use Google Analytics. The first thing is it's just powerful. We've got the brainiacs over at Google that are working 24/7 on this thing, trying to make it bigger, better, stronger, faster, giving us more reports, giving us more access to stuff. And we're going to let them do that. The second thing is it's free. We don't really need to talk much about that. It's free. Other than them paying you to use it, you really can't get much better than that. The third thing is that it works well when you're talking about other Google tools. So if you want to integrate with something like Website Optimizer. So for example, if you wanted to start doing some A/B testing to see which pages convert better. If you're doing any kind of pay-per-click advertising with AdWords, if you're running ads on AdSense, it seamlessly integrates with all of those things. The fourth reason that we like to use this, and especially for our clients, is that it has a lot of really good reports right out of the box. So, you're going to get most of the information that you're going to need off of your website without even having to touch custom reporting. And then the last thing is the reason why we like to use Google Analytics is it's really easy to install. You just you sign up for an account, you grab a little bit of JavaScript code, and you just put that in the header of your page. If you're running something like a WordPress, it's even easier because there are plugins out there that you can use that all you have to do is put in your little account number. That's it, done deal. And it's ready to go from there. So, now that we know what we're talking about, let's spend a little bit of time and kind of talk about why this is important. And really for a business, what that boils down to is profitability. Why is this going to make me some money? Okay, so I think the best way to demonstrate the gravity of what analytics can actually do for you in your business is to provide you with an example. So let's assume that we're an online retailer and we're selling a widget. Right? We're going to call it Widget X. Now, our widget costs $100. That's our online costs. Now, for production, fulfillment, support, all of those other hard costs, it's about $60. So we have an online cost of $100. All of our hard costs are $60. So at the end of the day, that gives us $40 for profit and then to pay for marketing. So because it's an online business, maybe we don't have a whole lot of organic traffic coming in, so we're going to go ahead and kind of goose it with a little bit of pay-per-click. If we get pay-per-click traffic at 50 cents per click, assuming that we have a 2% conversion ratio, which isn't bad, that means that we're going to get one sale out of every 50 clicks. So we've got 50 clicks at 50 cents a piece. So that means our marketing cost is going to be $25. If we take that from our initial $40 that we had left over after we pay the hard costs, that gives us a $15 profit or a 15% profit on our $100 item. Now that's not great. Okay? It's not bad though, because basically in this economy, I'll take anything that's going to be in the black. But now let's assume that maybe we take a look at our analytics, maybe you talk to your web developer or something else like that. You convert the page, right? You change your headlines, maybe you switch up a couple of graphics, Maybe you go from a long form sales page to something that's going to be shorter, bullet lists, maybe a little video or something like that. And then you test that. Now, when you're doing your testing, you find out that you went from a 2% conversion ratio to a 3% conversion ratio, right? It doesn't seem like much, 2 to 3%, totally doable. So what that means is now instead of 1 out of 50 clicks resulting in a sale, that means that you get 1 out of every 33. So your marketing cost goes from $25 down to $16.50, and your profit, conversely, goes up from $15 to $23.50. So by just getting that 1% increase in your conversion ratio, what you've been able to do is increase your profitability on that product, on widget X, by 57%. Again, a 1% increase in the conversions will give you a 50% increase in profitability. Now, those are numbers that we just made up for this example. Your numbers obviously are going to be different, but you can see how, just a slight increase in your conversion is going to drastically increase and affect your profitability. So what does that mean? That means if you want to have more success, if you want to be able to make more sales on the same dollar, that means that you need to be able to increase your conversions. This is why analytics is so important. Now, the really cool part about this is that this works for anybody, right? No matter what kind of a website that you've got. The numbers work out really easy when it's an e-commerce site and you're selling a product, just because it's dollars in and dollars out. But even if you have a lead generation site, maybe you're a landscaping company and you've got a form that you're using to try to generate leads. In that case, you're probably paying something for that traffic. It still works out the same way. You just got to track it down a little bit further. And then the same thing for a brand building website or a site that you've got that you're really just using for brand awareness. Same kind of thing. You're going to get higher conversions, which is going to be more brand awareness if people get on your site and they stay on your site and do what you want them to do. Okay. So with that, hopefully by now we probably got your attention. And you're seeing that this is going to be something that's going to be important for your business. Okay, for phase one, we're going to talk about basic usage. So if you're brand new to analytics, don't worry about it. We're going to walk you step by step through, what's important and what you really need to be able to take a look at. So remember, one of the reasons why we chose Google Analytics as opposed to the Web Trends or the Omniture or some of these other analytics programs is because we really like the fact that just out of the box, brand new without any customization, Google Analytics has some really useful and some really important reports that are going to give you valuable information about the progress or the status of your website. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at basically 3 areas of those reports. The first area of those reports are what are called visitor reports. Now, with visitor reports, what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to find out information about, obviously, the people that are visiting our website. So here we're talking about things like demographics. Do we want to know the locations? Are they US? Are they China-based? Are they coming from South America? Wherever the case is. We can keep track of that with analytics. The other thing is we can keep track of the languages. So if you sell products that are, that can serve multiple languages, you'll be able to keep track of which percentage are coming in that are speaking English, which ones are Spanish, French, whatever the case may be. The other thing that we can keep track with our visitor reports are things like behaviors. Are they new visitors versus returning? How frequently are they coming back? And then the technology that they use as well. Now, this is going to be really important over the next couple of years. As mobile devices become more and more popular, what you're going to see is screen resolutions are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So as you take a look at this, you can take a look at a resolution report in terms of here are the screen resolutions of everybody that's visited my website. And usually you'll see big monitors, 19-inch monitors, 20-inch monitors. And then down at the bottom, in the 4% range, you'll see smaller resolutions. And what those are your iPhones. Those are your BlackBerries. So more and more people are accessing information about or from your website on their cell phones. So that's important to keep track of.